All right, welcome back to the channel. So it seems like there's a lot of promoters that are not doing well in this boxing thing right now. The UK, a lot of boxing media and fight and promoters are acting like that's the promised land of boxing for some reason. But Sky Sports and BT just did some major flopping over there. Let's talk about that. Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren joining Top Rank as a bunch of flops in this pandemic boxing game. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So promoters. What do they get paid for? They get paid for selling fights to fight fans. Getting two fighters to agree to fight one another, then getting fight fans who want to see those guys fight each other to pay their money to see the guys fight each other, right? In the perfect world, you'll have two very good fighters that are known by the fans, and the promoter can put them together and create something of a lot of interest. So the fight fans get a great fight, the fighters get a lot of money because so many fans are interested in it, and the promoter gets their cut. Unfortunately, over the years, promoters have tried to manipulate the tar out of that situation, and as a result, boxing is in just a really raggedy state of affairs when compared to its potential. Now, before I get into that, let me say thank you very much to everybody that supports the channel. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also, thank you so much to everybody that supports on the Patreon, everybody that supports over there as members to the channel. Also, Patreon, just got to make a little announcement about the Patreon. I had to change some settings because a couple of you guys were getting over on a monthly basis and it's not kind of fair. So, there'll be a slight change over there to the Patreon channel that you guys might notice, or some of y'all might notice that we're trying to get over that it won't work anymore. Unfortunate. Now, on to this. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. Frank Warren and Queensbury, excuse me. I always mix up Queensland, which is in Australia, with Queensbury, which is the rules of boxing. Queensbury Promotions, which is run by Frank Warren. Their shows that they aired on BT Sports and Sky Sports respectively have flopped. And I won't go through the numbers specifically. I'll let you guys go check it out. Mike Coppinger put the numbers up. But if I recall correctly, the numbers were below for both of the Matchroom card, which was in Eddie Hearn's garden, or in whatever fight it was that Frank Warren put on. That these were both well under 100,000, views, and this is not pay-per-view, right? This is just this is TV that people get to watch. At least that's my understanding. I don't believe that they were pay-per-view, and because God dog, they would no, because we got viewership numbers, so they couldn't have been pay-per-view. So anyway, 29. So one was like peaking at 29,000. Oh, excuse me. Let me make sure I check. I want to make sure I check those numbers. So, according to the tweet, initial ratings for Eddie Hearn's Fight Camp debut on Sky: Eggington versus Cheeseman. You can't shit. Eggington versus Cheeseman. God, that's hilarious. Cheeseman. 93K average. With a viewership peak at 200,000. Frank Warren's Friday show on BT Sport, which was Arthur versus Spillman, did 3,000 average and peaked at 26K. So Eddie Hearn averaging on Sky Sports 93,000. Now, why is this? Okay, suffice it to say, those are crappy numbers. Okay, those are crappy numbers. Sky Sports did a pay-per-view they did pay-per-views with Dillian White that I believe did twice that. Like, I think Dillian White's pay-per-views were somewhere around 400,000, 300, 400,000. And Anthony Joshua's pay-per-views on Sky were, estimated to be like 1.2 million, something like that. And now on what is free, 93,000 average and a peak of 202,000. I can only imagine that the 202,000 came from the Eggington and Cheeseman fight. Now, Top Rank, they follow right in line with Top Rank. A Top Rank that also's been averaging somewhere around 200,000, 300,000 on ESPN. Just absolutely abysmal numbers for Top Rank, right? Like Dana White said, I can't remember. I'm not going to use the Dana White quote because Dana White said that he was behind somebody named Cornhole. And since I know the word cornhole can be used to talk about, releasing feces, safe enough to say that those viewerships were crap. Okay. So now why is this? And I'm happy, and I'm not happy about it. Let me not say that because I don't ever want to come across like I want people to lose their jobs or I want people to fail because I don't. I would love if if we got the best fights in boxing and everybody made a bunch of money. As long as I'm seeing great fights and I feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of stuff, I'm happy with the fact that other people are making money. Now, for going back to my original statement and how I started off the video though, the reason why this crap is happening, this stuff is because don't nobody want to see the fights. Don't nobody want to see the fights. And there are so many fighters that are excellent, excellent fighters that now the UK, Ted Cheeseman and what's the dude's name again? Ted Cheeseman and it's Eggington and Cheeseman. Oh man, them names sound crazy to me. Eggington, eggs and cheese. Egg and cheese. Is it egg and cheese? Let me see. Yeah, the egg and cheese show. The egg and cheese show flopped. Because dog, these guys are not worth. Those are domestic level fighters, man. Those are domestic level UK fighters, and you can't even get the UK to be excited about those fighters. So that tells you, and it also might give you about what the hardcore fan base in the UK is really, is what their core fan base is, which is about 200,000, and you might be able to get bigger ones during like special big time fighters. But look, man, the reason that I brought this up is not that I wish for failure from Top Rank, because I don't, or failure. No, let me not say that about Top Rank. About UK dudes. I mean, I don't have a problem with Matchroom, and I don't want failure on Matchroom and Queensbury, because those are the two promoters over there in the UK, and there's a lot of really good boxing fans in the UK, and domestic level boxing has its place. People enjoy that fighting. If you can actually get out and go see the shows, great stuff. However, this is a reflection of what's going on in the United States, because you see that in the UK that you can't do very well if you're not going to have fights that people are excited about. That's what Top Rank has shown. Top Rank is having a bunch of fights on ESPN that people are not excited about at all. And that's why the rankings that's why you're getting just, bare minimum type of ratings, because you can get 200,000-300,000 people to watch it, because there may be that many hardcore boxing fans that are going, because it's on ESPN, because it's free, that are going to watch it. But, what happens if this continues to go on? This COVID stuff keeps going on, and you can't, you're going to have a harder and harder time, getting some of the bigger fights off, because promoters need their cuts, networks take their cuts. So while I don't have a problem, and I understand why these ratings would look like this in the short run, it's a very bad look for the long run, because, eventually people are just not going to want to watch that stuff at all, right? Like, I'm not going to watch. I watched, and I'm a very hardcore boxing fan. I watched one full fight on ESPN, one of all those cards, because when I have to choose between watching, a ridiculous mismatch and, going to the store for my wife, I'm gonna go to the store for my wife. I get more out of that than I get watching these fights where I don't care about the outcome. So I'm hoping that, a lesson can be learned in this, and that is, start signing and promoting heavy a bunch of fighters to the demographic that they're interested in, that are interested in them, so that they can be, anxious about fights. They can feel like you're giving them something that they want instead of putting on something that you want to give them. I guess that's probably the best way to look at it, because most of these cards are not things that anybody's asking for, right? Nobody, even with the Canelo Alvarez fights, nobody's asking for those fights. Canelo Alvarez is talking about, or at least there's a report that came out that said Canelo Alvarez looking to go to the UK. Maybe some UK people are looking for Canelo Alvarez to fight Ted Cheeseman. I don't know what weight class Ted Cheeseman's in, but I'm not looking forward to that. So maybe if they say, hey, well, that is fights that UK fighters would be interested in, let's just bring Canelo over to the UK. And then, the UK fans could be interested in seeing Canelo against their fighters. Cool. Hopefully if that's the case where they're really giving fighters, fight fans in the UK something that they want to see, and Canelo is something that they want to see, I think that is good for boxing. I don't have a problem with it. But what promoters are doing, by and large, is they are just matching up the fights that they want people to see and are taking a gamble on whether or not people are going to tune in to watch it or not, right? Versus planning it out, taking a slower route about it, and saying, hey, man, let's make sure we give people fights that people actually want to see. The only fights that I know for sure that are out in boxing right now where it's something that somebody asked to see, want to see, is Jermell Charlo versus Jason Rosario. That's a fight where people have been mentioning that fight, asking that fight before any promoter said anything about it. And it was a result, and it resulted from the PBC and those teams saying, oh, this is what fight fans want. Let's work together let's get this together so we can give the fight fans what they want to see. And I would not be surprised at all if the pay-per-views on those numbers, do well enough so that they more than break even and get viewership on some of these things that are going to be higher than some of the free. They might get a pay-per-view fights where you get more viewership than you do on regular televised TV. Like the Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia, if that pops out this year, that fight very well may get, or I suspect it will get, more pay-per-views to watch, more pay-per-view buys on Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr. than you get regular views on these ESPN cards that nobody cares about. So I'm just hoping that that these numbers demonstrate or a sign that, look, man, none of these fights are going to work if you're not putting together fights that actual boxing fans are asking to see. And that if you keep putting fights together that you think work for your bottom dollar, right? Don't be surprised that when they take place, they do worse than expected, because you're giving something that nobody asked for. I mean, are you doing any marketing research or something? That's usually when people have successful products. When they find something that is missing in the market, that the marketplace is demanding, and you're able to service it, and you service it better than other people, you succeed, right? But if you're just out there just developing products because you think that you like them, right? And they say it's something that you would like, don't be surprised if it doesn't have the mass appeal that you would otherwise want it to have. So anyway, that's my take on it. No, I was kind of, all over the place on this one, but it is what it is. It's boxing during the coronavirus. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.